Thank you very much, sir. Great honor having you on our television. Mr. Sarrazin, can you tell us when Nochrit? You met this morning with the Balkan Six. It was supposed to be Minister of Foreign Affairs, all of them, but not all of them came. But anyway, it's a great impression as to know what does Germany to do and has to say about what and how these Balkan Six interact with each other.
Well, I think it's the first great occasion to be here where the foreign ministers or the representatives of the foreign ministries present from all Western Balkan 6 states, and the first time the special representatives, special envoys for the region were meeting up. So first time us, the new crew, so to say, were sitting together at a table at a lovely place. Yeah, and I think it's important. We had a lack of coordination within Corona also because people were not meeting enough. So this will not change the world from today to tomorrow alone, but it's one important pillar.
Okay, one important. What do you make of the open Balkans vis-à-vis the Berlin process, which is one of your own that Madam Merkel has started?
Well, on the one hand, I think that it's important to have some inclusive process, which is acquis-oriented, trying to facilitate the accession path, and I know that a lot of ideas behind Open Balkans have a positive sentiment on the same aims, but there's some skepticisms on the inclusivity and also how well it's organized.
There are, or you are skeptical?
Well, frankly, me personally, I'm coming from a skeptical position, but I'm willing to learn, and I think that we should talk to each other, we should wage all ideas and try to find a way how to come together on the best terms. But this must be inclusivity and clarity that it's in line with...
And since it's not, what do you make out of it, since it's not inclusive? You have Bosnia out of it, you still have Montenegro out of it, and Kosovo too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my job to talk about this. I mean, it's the job.
What do you make out of it? Because you're mentioning as a first point inclusivity, and you're not the only one. All of you from the Quint member states, you all talk about inclusivity.
We stick to the Berlin process. We try to reinvigorate. Chancellor Scholz on his travel made clear statements he will invite in the autumn to a big conference of Berlin process to Berlin. And this is what we will do, but this is not like in a competition to Open Balkans or in a kind of trying to push this back or not. No, I think we should really, everybody who wants to do something positive should be invited to contribute. But we believe that Berlin process is the right way to do it. And and then let's talk about good ideas, and let's have a critical debate where you can just also frankly...
Inside the Berlin process, talk about ideas rather than at the Open Balkans?
Well, I mean, we talk about all these ideas always when we meet.
Okay.
Yeah? So,
fair enough.
Also, even in the Prespa forum.
Yes, indeed.
Also, we talk about this.
Now, the issue is that because nowadays we hear a lot of, I wouldn't say rumors, but politicians who call it mini Yugoslavia. Like something that was used to be an entity that is not existing anymore. You know it as much as we do in the Balkans, and now it's like a kind of a return of the mini Yugoslavia, where the only new party is the Albania, since they were never part of Yugoslavia. Is it so? You don't know.
From where should I? Ask others. Ask those ones who are in there.
Yes, all right.
But in the end, you know. What I really believe is that we cannot afford that people who want to contribute positively to the integration of the region towards the European Union are wasting efforts in going apart. Yeah?
All right.
So we should try to get everybody who's positive on a clear path towards full membership in the European Union, on an inclusive approach, with an importance for regional cooperation, should talk to each other, and we should take each other serious.
Is there anyone that you could name who's talking apart?
I mean, there's a lot of efforts done by a lot of people in creating new concepts, new ideas, and then like it's in a way of that they are set against each other on the stage, and then we
that's how it looks like
to fight against. Yeah, and I think this is
that's exactly how it looks like, because we have Kosovo, which is totally outside, and you have Albania and Serbia, and even now Macedonia nowadays, who are calling for it, but there's
No
the issue
process
of...
will work out when anybody of the six is felt neglected
Oh, yeah.
or let outside. Yeah?
But we
And
okay.
I think the interests of all six have to be taken serious if they want to be successful in regional cooperation. And also all six will have to move for that. Nobody
Okay.
will get everything what they want. And I think that Berlin process is the right way in stepping forward.
All right.
But it doesn't mean that we should not talk to all other concepts, about all other concepts,
Of
and
course.
try to get the best out of all ideas into the Berlin process.
That's inclusivity too, not just exclusivity. Talking just about the Berlin process.
Inclusivity means all six,
Indeed.
yes. And then I will always only talk about Berlin process.
And not awful book. All right, fair enough. There's this name role which in North Macedonia has been eliminated from the Prespa agreement and onwards, but we still lack with the Bulgarian veto. Do you believe that France could make it happen and lift the veto as everyone is expecting, sir?
It's quite obvious that you asked me already if I believe.
Well, I ask you, do you really believe, as we do hope?
You know, what I learned in the last 2 weeks is that 24 hours is a long, long time in politics in the region, especially also in domestic politics in Bulgaria at the moment.
Yes,
So
unfortunately.
frankly, I don't know, but we should try whatever we can to make it happen.
So you don't know if you believe, or you don't know if it will happen. They're two different issues.
I don't know if I believe. I don't know if it will happen.
Okay.
I know that I will do, and my government will do whatever we can do to
Okay.
contribute to success. Yeah, but I don't know if I believe in a success or not. I mean, what do
Right.
you believe?
Well,
about
listen,
the
we've been
coalition
believing for the
situation?
20 years. We've believed for the 20 years that the European Union will deliver and that we have to deliver as
I
well.
still believe that
You
European
know,
Union will
since
deliver.
since you're asking me, I'm so very honest.
You
Sir.
ask on the timing.
Yes, sir.
Do I believe
Yeah,
that
but-
European Union will deliver?
That
Yes, for
France
sure.
will deliver. In this case, Macron will deliver since they have the EU presidency. Because I once talk about Mr. Macron's plan with Bulgaria. No one knows where is it in detail since we haven't seen any letters. And if you can enlighten us, I would be more than interested to listen to you.
I'm not the right one to enlighten you on French letters.
Okay.
I just can enlighten you in the sense that the French are doing a lot and they're really engaged and they want negotiations to take place and they're really trying to make it. And this is a really important signal to the region.
Yes, indeed.
That in this momentum, Northern Macedonia can count on French support and enlargement procedure shall be reinvigorated with clear French political efforts.
Okay. Since we're talking about the enlargement, is there an enlargement fatigue at the EU nowadays? Since we're talking about the candidate status for Ukraine, for Georgia, then we had Mr. Pachor here yesterday who was even talking, you know, there's a sui generis case with Turkey and maybe a sui generis case
Yes.
as well with Ukraine, but the Balkans are at the very heart of the Europe. But from that sentence that we hear every day, and the enlargement, and when it comes to the enlargement and the war in Ukraine, we are very doubtful will it really happen or not.
Well, I'm 40 years old now. I'm handling enlargement stuff since 1999. I was even before in the European Federalist movement, and since I still had hairs like you almost, I hear the
I still
story
do.
about enlargement fatigue.
Okay.
So-
yeah, well, it's the same. It's the same.
Somehow
I heard it
this
for
never
20 years,
changed.
the EU fatigue.
So probably when I will have hairs again, the story will be the same. My government has no enlargement fatigue,
Okay, great.
even opposite. My chancellor is convinced this region must become member of European Union faster than it was in the past.
Okay.
Yeah?
And
My
when you say
foreign
faster,
minister,
what it means, sir?
we will not tell you.
Well, I mean, 20 years we're waiting for this
Yeah, you're
faster
all
to hear
waiting
it
just for a
properly.
date and then you can just
Yeah,
lean
well,
back and wait
it's
until the
actually
date.
true. We were
Yes.
first waiting for NATO, then after NATO, now it's the EU at the door.
Yeah, no, you know the classical answer, which is right. In this merit-based process, timing depends on reform paths,
Not
and now
political, but
the
technical
task is that
dialogue.
we get the enlargement process back into a stage where this is valid and true. And for this, we need starting enlargement negotiations with North Macedonia and Albania. The credibility of the process has to be fought back. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is the next step.
All right. Mr. Sarrazin, what do you make of Serbia, which is not yet imposing sanctions to Russia?
tell them that we expect them to do so because it's the baseline of the Stabilization and Association Agreement.
Okay.
And always increasing alignment with our GSFP. Doesn't mean that tomorrow Serbia has to bring in all sanctions, but we want to see a clear path that they are moving forward to more alignment because the last weeks and months it was less alignment.
That's what I was about to know. Do you know how late it is?
How late?
How Serbia is late. How late Serbia is to impose the sanctions. Does anyone know?
I don't get your point really.
Well, the point is when the EU as an entity,
Yes.
as a bloc, and the rest of the region as well, we impose the sanctions based on the Western policies.
Yes.
Serbia didn't.
Yes.
But actually everyone forgets since how long Serbia forgot or is not
There's still
fulfilling.
some missing from 2014, I know that.
Yes, actually yes.
And then they imposed some of 2014, but I think they were touching mainly non-Russian nationals.
National.
Yeah. No, we are aware of that. But frankly, also, I think it's better to be clear and to point out the difference in position
Okay.
than to find a way of a halfway compromise and then smile and say again, all is great. No, this is not great. This is not okay. We have other expectations. Full stop.
But they're not making it happen yet. Well, everyone is talking that the Russian humanitarian base in Niš is used as a spy hub. Well, can that affect any way of shape or form this hybrid war between Western and Russia, sir?
Well, I cannot comment on this. Sorry.
Not on the base. How about the hybrid war? What do you make out of it?
I think that we really have to be aware of that the Russians invested in these regions a lot for the region, not a lot for possible investment. What they did, for them it's quite a cheap investment still, and of course information, corruption, kind of civil society stuff like in Northern Macedonia before the Prespa referendum took place.
Right.
All the stuff is taking place via oligarchs, via informal structures, via corruption. This is all, of course, hybrid warfare because they are not strong enough to offer a development model for this region. Yeah, I mean, does anybody in this region wants to become a member of Russian Federation or Eurasian Union fully? No, nobody. So they try it by splitting
Serbia,
us.
maybe?
No. Serbs might be pro-Russian, but they're not stupid. Well,
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Mr. Sarrazin. I really appreciate it.
voilà, faleminderit.
Faleminderit.